From translation, Net New English Translation. This sixth day of the year. Today we are reading passages Genesis 19 to 21. Genesis chapter 19, verses 1 to 37. The two angels came to Sodom in the evening, while Lot was sitting in the gateway of the city. When Lot saw them, he got up to meet them and bowed down with his face to the ground. He said, "Now, my lords, please come to your servant's house and stay the night. Wash your feet and you can get up early and go on your way." But they said, "No, we will stay in the town square." But he urged them strongly, so they went with him and entered his house. He prepared a feast for them and baked unleavened bread, and they ate. Before they lay down, the men of the city, the men of Sodom, surrounded the house from the youngest to the oldest, all the people from every quarter. They called to Lot and said to him, "Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us so we can have sex with them." Lot went outside to them, shutting the door behind him. He said, "I beg you, my brothers, do not act so wickedly. Look, I have two daughters who have never had sexual relations with a man. Let me bring them out to you, and you can do to them whatever you like. But do nothing to these men, because they have come under the protection of my roof." But they said, "Stand back." They said, "This fellow came as a foreigner, and now he wants to play the judge. Now we will deal with you more harshly than with them." They kept pressing in on Lot and advancing toward the door to break it down. But the men inside reached out their hands and brought Lot into the house with them and shut the door. They struck the men who were at the entrance of the house with blindness, from the youngest to the oldest, and they were worn out trying to find the entrance. The men said to Lot, "Do you have anyone else here? Your sons-in-law, your sons, your daughters, and anyone else you have in the city, bring them out of this place. For we are about to destroy this place, because the outcry to the Lord against its people has become great, so that the Lord has sent us to destroy it." Then Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-law, who were going to marry his daughters. He said, "Hurry up and leave this place, because the Lord is about to destroy the city." But his sons-in-law thought he was joking. As dawn was breaking, the angels urged Lot, "Get up, take your wife and your two daughters who are here, or you will be swept away when the city is punished." When he hesitated, the men grasped his hand, and the hands of his wife and the hands of his two daughters, because the Lord was merciful to him. They led him out and placed him outside the city. As soon as they had brought them out, one of them said, "Escape for your life. Don't look back or stop anywhere in the plain. Escape to the mountains, or you will be swept away." But Lot said to them, "No, my lords. Please, your servant has already received your favor, and you have shown me great kindness by sparing my life. But I cannot escape to the mountains, or the disaster will overtake me and I will die. Look, this town is near enough to escape to, and it is small. Let me escape there. It is a small place, perhaps my life will be spared." He said to him, "All right, I will grant this request too. I will not overthrow the town you mentioned. But hurry, escape there, because I cannot do anything until you arrive there." This is why the town was called Zor. The sun was rising on the earth as Lot arrived at Zor. The Lord then rained down sulfur and fire on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the sky. He destroyed these cities, and all the plain, and all the inhabitants of the cities, and what grew on the ground. But Lot's wife looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. Early in the morning, Abraham went to the place where he had stood before the Lord. He looked down toward Sodom and Gomorrah, and toward all the land of the plain, and he saw the smoke rising from the land like the smoke of a great furnace. So when God destroyed the cities of the plain, he remembered Abraham, and he brought Lot out of the middle of the overthrow when he destroyed the cities where Lot had been living. Now Lot went up from Zor and settled in the hill country because he was afraid to live in Zor. He and his two daughters settled in a cave. Lot's older daughter said to her younger sister, "Our father is old, and there is no man left in the world to come into us, as is the custom of all the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will have sexual relations with him so that we can preserve our father's lineage." So they made their father drink wine that night, and the older daughter came and had sexual relations with her father. But he was not aware when she lay down or when she got up. The next day the older daughter said to her younger sister, "I had sexual relations with my father last night. Let's make him drink wine again tonight, and you go in and have sexual relations with him, so that we can preserve our father's lineage through both of us." So they made their father drink wine again that night, and the younger one came and had sexual relations with him. But he was not aware when she lay down or when she got up. In this way both Lot's daughters became pregnant by their father. The older daughter gave birth to a son and named him Moab. He is the ancestor of the Moabites of today. The younger also gave birth to a son and named him Ben-Ami. He is the ancestor of the Ammonites of today. Genesis chapter 20, verses 1 to 18. Abraham traveled from there to the region of the Negev and settled between Kadesh and Shur. While he was staying in Gerar, Abraham said about his wife Sarah, "She is my sister." So Abimelech king of Gerar sent for and took Sarah. But God came to Abimelech in a dream at night and said to him, "Look, you are about to die because of the woman you have taken, for she is someone's wife." Now Abimelech had not approached her, so he said, "Lord, will you destroy a nation even though it is innocent? Didn't he himself say to me, 'She is my sister'? And she herself said, 'He is my brother.' I have done this with a clear conscience and innocent hands." But God said to him in the dream, "Yes, I know that you have done this with a clear conscience, and so I have prevented you from sinning against me. That is why I did not let you touch her. Now return the man's wife, for he is a prophet, and he will pray for you and you will live. But if you don't return her, be aware that you will surely die, you and all who belong to you." Abimelech got up early in the morning, and he summoned all his servants. He told them all these things, and the men were terrified. Abimelech then called Abraham and said to him, "What have you done to us? What sin did I commit against you that you have brought about such great guilt on me and my kingdom? You have done things to me that should not be done." Abimelech continued, "What were you thinking when you did this?" Abraham replied, "I thought, surely there is no fear of God in this place, and they will kill me because of my wife. Besides, she really is my sister, the daughter of my father though not of my mother, and I became her husband. When God had me leave my father's household and wander from my relatives, I said to her, 'This is how you can show your loyalty to me. Everywhere we go, say about me, he is my brother.'" Abimelech took sheep and cattle, male and female servants, and gave them to Abraham. He also returned his wife Sarah to him. Abimelech said, "Look, my land is before you, settle wherever you want." To Sarah he said, "Look, I have given your brother 1,000 pieces of silver. It is your vindication before all who are with you. You are completely cleared." Abraham prayed to God, and God healed Abimelech and his wife and his female slaves, so they could have children again, for the Lord had completely closed up every womb in Abimelech's household because of Abraham's wife Sarah. Genesis chapter 21, verses 1 to 34. The Lord was gracious to Sarah just as he had said, and the Lord did for Sarah what he had promised. Sarah became pregnant and bore a son to Abraham in his old age, at the appointed time that God had told him. Abraham named his son, the one Sarah bore to him, Isaac. When his son Isaac was 8 days old, Abraham circumcised him, just as God had commanded him. Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born to him. Sarah said, "God has made laughter for me. Everyone who hears will laugh with me." She said, "Who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? Yet I have borne him a son in his old age." The child grew and was weaned, and Abraham held a great feast on the day Isaac was weaned. But Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, whom she had borne to Abraham, mocking. So she said to Abraham, "Banish this slave woman and her son, for the son of this slave woman will never share the inheritance with my son Isaac." Abraham was upset by this because of his son. But God said to Abraham, "Do not be upset about the boy and your slave woman. Do whatever Sarah tells you, because through Isaac your descendants will be counted. But I will also make a nation of the slave boy's descendants, because he is your descendant." Early in the morning, Abraham took some food and a skin of water, gave them to Hagar, and put them on her shoulders. He sent her away with the child, and she went wandering through the desert near Beersheba. When the water in the skin was gone, she threw the child under one of the bushes. Then she went and sat down by herself about a bowshot away, for she thought, "I don't want to watch the child die." And as she sat there nearby, she began to sob. But God heard the boy's voice, and the angel of God called to Hagar from heaven and said to her, "What is the matter, Hagar? Don't be afraid, for God has heard the boy's voice right where he is crying. Get up, lift up the boy, and hold him by the hand, because I will make him into a great nation." Then God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. She went and filled the skin with water and then gave the boy a drink. God was with the boy as he grew. He lived in the wilderness and became an archer. He lived in the Paran wilderness, and his mother got a wife for him from the land of Egypt. At that time Abimelech and Phicol, the commander of his army, said to Abraham, "God is with you in everything you do. Now swear to me here by God that you will not deal falsely with me or with my children and descendants. As I have been loyal to you, so you will be loyal to me and to the land where you are living as a foreigner." Abraham said, "I swear it." But Abraham lodged a complaint against Abimelech because of a well of water that Abimelech's servants had seized. Abimelech said, "I don't know who has done this thing. You did not tell me, and I only found out today." Abraham took some sheep and cattle and gave them to Abimelech, and the two men made a treaty. Abraham set apart 7 ewe lambs from the flock. Abimelech asked Abraham, "What is the meaning of these 7 ewe lambs you have set apart?" He replied, "These 7 ewe lambs you will take from my hand, in order that it may prove I dug this well." That is why that place is called Beersheba, because the two of them swore an oath there. So they made a treaty at Beersheba. Abimelech and Phicol, the commander of his army, returned to the land of the Philistines. Abraham planted a tamarisk tree in Beersheba, and there he worshipped the Lord, the eternal God. Abraham lived as a foreigner in the land of the Philistines for many days.